relationships create so much trouble. It was important for me to be accepted for where I was. It's always the woman who decides where does the relationship go. You keep comparing him to your ex-partners, you keep comparing him to a potential future partner, and that's how women are made. We are made to bring this life. Why are you betraying yourself so much? I'll tell you why. When we are on the edge of something new, there will always be fear. When you bless a woman, you amplify the flow of abundance. Relationships are opening us to the divine truth that we are. Through the portal of relationships, we have an extraordinary opportunity. We have an opportunity to truly embody the highest human potential, which is the direct experience of sacred union. So no one is indifferent about relationships. Everyone wants to make relationships work. Well, at least the fact that you are here tells me that. And the truth is that whenever we lean into something that our heart is beating for, whenever we lean with a full yes into a certain experience in life, we have the chance to experience the ultimate reality. Through one thing, you can experience it all. So relationships serve as that portal, and relationships create so much trouble on this planet. A lot of people are longing for a relationship. They want to be in a harmonious relationship, but they find themselves fighting all the time. They find themselves proving who they are, their worth, their needs. Other people feel just constantly unmet, and they feel stuck, and they don't believe that there's anything that can change ever, because that's the reality they've experienced their whole life. Other people experience the same relationship, just with different people, again and again and again. And then it's like something is not working, you're exiting the relationship, and then just to experience the same thing with another person. So there are so many varieties. You also may be happy and harmonious in your relationship, and you may have gone through initiations and initiations in your love life, and you keep emerging higher and higher and higher together. If that's the case, congratulations. You may also experience that it's very harmonious, but you feel like you're in a cage. You may experience that you simply don't see people around you that could be anywhere close to what you desire in a relationship. So all these possibilities are there, and in this episode I want to present you the vision of a relationship that can really uplift you, that can really elevate you, and that will be doing that again and again and again for a very simple reason. For a reason that this is the natural way, the way that we are wired. And if you have a sense that there must be more to relationships, if you have a sense that all these ways how you've already done relationships has not been like fully it yet, I want you to pay attention. I want you to listen. And I want to specifically speak about how women get to bring out the highest in a man. And the paradox here is that even though you may be really wanting to invite your partner or your potential partner to shine, and you really feel his potential, and I know I've always been that way. I've always had this quite a special quality, quite a mystical quality in being able to really see the essence of a person. In Tantra, we call this capacity transfiguration. So transfiguration is a specific state of consciousness in which you enter into an experience of the divine directly through whatever is in front of you. And so this is a quality that a lot of women have just naturally inbuilt in them. And they may have gone through a lot of trouble because of that. Because they may have found that they are relating to someone's potential, because they see him. They really can see who he is. And at the same time, it's not enough that you just see it. He has to choose that. And in fact, your seeing and you starting to relate them to the potential, not to the real person, may very well delay his emergence into that. Because you know, it's like when you try to force someone into something, there will be so many mechanisms coming up. there will be so much resistance. There will be this rebellion coming up. You remember as a child, your parents told you, wear a hat, wear a hat, wear a hat, don't eat ice cream, don't eat, then what you gonna do? Don't smoke, don't take drugs. Yeah, right. You know, children are much more likely to do all these things you're telling them not to, because they feel forced, they feel pressed. They're like, hey, let me have my own life, let me have my own experience. And of course, a man is not a child, but if you start to treat him as a child, then you start to enter into very uncomfortable karmic dynamics where the man will be just resisting that unconsciously, even though he may go like, wow, it's so special, you can really see me. I've had that multiple times in various relationships where a man would be so touched that I could see him. And depending on where he was at in his journey, he may get really, really flattered by that. And he may get really amazed that, wow, this woman can really see me and she can see the things that I know about myself. So that's important, yeah, that he knows that about himself. And she can see that. And then it's like, wow, this is beautiful. Like, I want to be in a relationship where we really invite each other into the highest. But I also have been in relationships where I would be so eager to make this relationship work that I would kind of play with this ability and then misuse this power unknowingly, unconsciously. But I would be in a relationship with him and I would be like, well, but why are you behaving like that? You are here. Why are you behaving like this? Like, why are you thinking this? Like, you shouldn't be, like, you are here. And at first he was curious, but when we separated, and that was a really challenging relationship, one very challenging relationship in my life, it was exactly that dynamic, that I would be like, no, but let's go. I have, like, I see you, I have so much love for you, I can do everything, like, you know, just, I have so much love, it's enough for both of us, kind of thing. Mistake, Sophia. Anyway, I'll break it down later. And so later, when we separated, he told me, you know, I actually didn't feel seen by you. Like, you were kind of seeing me in such a high, expanded way, and I just could not identify with that. It was just not my truth. And I kind of, like, it was sweet that you saw me like that, but I felt really unseen, and I could not see myself. It was important for me to be accepted for where I was. And I was like, wow, that makes so much sense. That makes so much sense, because I really started to also deceive myself in, like, trying to ignore all the mess, all the things that were just really not right for me, not right for us, all the ways I was like, no, it's not gonna happen. This man is not in the space to be in a relationship of the level that you want. And yes, he has a potential, but everyone has a potential. Everyone has a divine within them. This is our nature. And this is exactly what relationships are opening for us. Relationships are opening us to the divine truth that we are. And so, how does a woman actually evoke the highest in a man? Not by fixating on his potential, not by trying to tell him, like, but you need to do that and this, and these are the advice, these are the right things, we need to do these things for couples, we need to do these practices, this will help us, and kind of like trying to bulldozer him into your perception of your ideal reality. None of that will work. None of that will work. It may alleviate the tension for a moment. Okay, there are practices. Okay, you can do my Limitless Love online program. It's full of practices for couples. They will help you. They will give you a taste, a flavor. They will support your transformation, but that's not it. That's not the whole thing. Just the practices will help you, will give you the keys, but the work is in your becoming. You're becoming, you embodying your true place. What is your true place? Your true place is the place where you are aligned with your supreme destiny. How do you get aligned with your supreme destiny? Is when you occupy the self-worth, where you occupy the fullness of the woman, of the man that you are. And so, how does a woman actually evoke the highest in a man? She does that in a very unexpected way. She does that through her own becoming and through her release of the attachment of how this man actually has to show up. This is a paradox, but when we tap into higher dimensional states of consciousness, higher dimensional realities, you understand that it's full of paradoxes. It's just full of paradoxes. And yes, you want to have the highest relationship. Yes, you want to have the highest meeting. But at the same time, in order to experience it, you have to let it go. And at the same time, in order to experience it, you need to need it. Ah! Can you take it? Can you just take it for a moment? You have to have the clear intention. Yes. You have to choose your own highest becoming. Yes. You have to release the attachment from outcome. Yes. And you need to need it. Yes. Oh my gosh. So this word need is a very difficult word. I have challenges with that word. And there's something very interesting I'm doing. I'm doing a very interesting experiment that I'm just starting. And I want to address that as well. But it has to do with need. It has to do with this ability to need something and give yourself permission to need something. And as a woman, to need a man. In the era where we fought so hard for our independence, how vulnerable it is. How excruciatingly vulnerable and raw it is to need a man while holding the detachment. This is like, just that is a code to take you out of the 3D paradigm where you think that everything is cause and effect, cause and effect, cause and effect. Yeah, where you think that, well, if I need someone, then I need to receive what I need from them. Or if I am detached from them, then I just remove myself and I don't try and I don't ask and I don't express my needs, right? So bringing it together, intention, release of outcome, and need all together. Wow. Sweet, sweet. Feel the sweetness of that. I think it's sweet. Where you're like, it doesn't make any sense. Perfect. That's what we want. It shouldn't make any sense because if you want to go the realms beyond the mind, you have to go into realms where it doesn't make any sense. And that's where your freedom is, in the space. It doesn't make any sense. It doesn't make any sense to the mind, but it's so clear in the heart. And so here's a very important code. When a woman actually evokes the highest in the man, what starts to happen? Well, he starts to behave as his most advanced version. And recently I had this experience that a man was sharing with me. So here I am standing in a flower shop, buying flowers for this woman. And I just ask myself, like, what am I doing? How come this is my reality? He's telling me this. And I'm like, what do you mean? He's like, I've never done that for a woman before. And I was like, what? You brought flowers to our very first date. You came with flowers. What do you mean you've never done that for a woman? He's like, yeah, I've never done that for a woman. And what happened there? I didn't tell him to buy me flowers on our first date. I didn't ask for it. He sent me a message saying, what would you like, chocolate or flowers? And I said, flowers. But he had the intention, he had the understanding, and he offered that. So that just came to him naturally. Why? Well, the actual reason why is because for me, it's really important to receive flowers from men. I really love flowers. I really love receiving masculine provision. I really love receiving gifts. I really love to have these gestures from men that actually show me that he has put thought and intention and he tuned into me and he wanted to make me feel special and safe and cared for. I just have this in my system. And so that's then what happens to men around me. They start to show up in their highest. They start to do things, and it's not the first time that I hear that from a man. Purchasing expensive gifts, taking out, consistently providing, taking care of, purchasing an amazing, luxurious trip, vacation. All these things I've experienced from men, and they very often told me that it's the very first time. I never thought I am this kind of man. So, what is happening here? The inner state of a woman, her inner permission. And here's a really, really important code. Something that I don't say publicly, something that I say in my closed containers for women who are ready to hear that, but I really feel I want to say that. I want to give it to you. It's this understanding that it's always the woman who decides where does the relationship go. Just look at your life. Just look at lives of other women. Just look at lives of different couples. Just look and get honest, like really honest. What happened there? Why did he approach you? Why did he stick around? Why did he leave? Why did he stay? Why did he come back? What happened there? It's always the woman who decides. She decides because in the way that she dresses herself, in the way that she takes care of herself, in the way that she nourishes herself, she decides. She becomes this radiant version of herself based on how she treats herself. She decided to treat herself that way. Or she decided to just be careless about how she treats herself, how she treats her wardrobe, how she nurtures herself. She gave up on herself. So she decided that she is a woman men give up on, life gives up on. She decided to look attractive. She decided to invest into her magnetism, into her radiance. Yes, she stands out. Yes, he approaches her. When she's with a man and she's like, oh no, that's not my man. No, here he cannot do it. There he's failing. No, no, no. But okay, let's see. What he's gonna do? He's gonna leave. Why? Because you decided. And if you're honest with yourself, you will understand that. If a man is indecisive with you and you want to take the relationship to the next level, you want to receive a proposal, you want to get married, or you want to move in together, or just to claim that you are together and to be settled and relaxed in that, and a man is not doing that. He's doubting, he's checking, he's not sure what's happening. You decided that it's not the time yet because you are doubting. And you're looking at his doubts and you say, well, why he's doubting? Who is doubting? You are doubting. You are doubting if you're honest. You keep comparing him to your ex-partners. You keep comparing him to a potential future partner. You keep checking whether it's right for me or not. And maybe you are right. Maybe you are right that you don't fully relax into this. But that's exactly what he is mirroring to you. It's a woman who decides. It's very hard to explain how that works. It has to do with how our consciousness is built. It has to do with how our brains function. But I've seen this myriads of times in my life and in lives of all the women around you. What you have decided, this is what he will be offering to you. This is what he will be giving to you. There's an experiment I'm entering into. It's very exciting. It's completely terrifying. But since I've been talking a lot about the masculine provision and women occupying their true feminine place, I realized I just have to go for it. I just have to do it. Also, inside of Becoming Her, we've entered into the week of divine masculine and really experiencing divine masculine within and divine masculine in man, and opening to him, really opening to new and new depths. And so I decided to take this challenge, and for a whole week, I am not going to pay for myself at all for anything. I am literally opening myself to receive complete masculine provision. I don't know how it's going to work, but I realized that my whole life I never needed money. Never. I never needed to ask men to give me money unless when I was a child. But since I've been an adult, I never needed that. I would be, as a child, I would be provided by my parents, but I would need to ask my father. But as a grown woman, I never needed that. And that gave me so much sense of safety and stability, and this sense of like, yes, I am independent and I'm sovereign. But this particular flavor of needing a man, this is something I know I have more to go into. And that's why I'm doing this experiment. And I'm doing this experiment on behalf of so many women, on behalf of women who never dare to ask men for anything because they feel too proud for that. On behalf of women who really are identified with, I have to be strong, I have to be independent. I'm doing it on your behalf. I'm doing it on behalf of women who think that if a man pays for her, then she owes him something, or that she has to become intimate with him or have sex with him. I'm doing it on behalf of women who yearn for that, but will never admit that to themselves. I'm doing it on behalf of all the women who really struggle to be vulnerable, because it opens a lot of vulnerability. I feel it already. It's like I literally put all my money into my safe box. I remove the key and I am going into this life with complete unknown for a week. I don't know how it's gonna work. I don't know, but I guess I'll figure it out. There's a part of me that just wants to stay at home for a whole week and just not need anything and maybe fast and just like, just not do that. Or come up with some strategies. It's like, oh, it's just I'll use it as a business expense or something like that. But no, I have to be honest here, and I just have to allow that in myself because I want to experience deeper receptivity. But what I also want is I want to empower men. I want to empower the masculine field. Because I know that when I do something, I do it on behalf of all the women, and I also do it for all the men. And I serve that. My life is in service to that. My life is in service, the highest meeting of the masculine and feminine. And this is my vision for it. My vision is that a woman has to be a woman and a man has to be a man. And there's nothing equal about that. There are different roles, there are different ways in how we thrive, and we are ready for that. I am ready for that, and I'm doing it on behalf of all of us. And I'm so excited to see what happens with that. But I do it from so much love, and I can imagine that I will probably be kind of overwhelmed sometimes and really challenged and really like, yeah, having to be very, very vulnerable. But I'm in. I'm in. I'm doing this for love. So thank you for witnessing. And so if you decide to be your highest expression, and this is what I'm working on with all the women I work with. Currently, we're in the midst of becoming her. So my program that's specifically oriented towards your becoming, towards your blossoming, but also everything else I'm doing. So now we are about to launch into a new cycle inside of Sanctuary, my membership, which is about initiation of love and evoking the highest in a man. And so on the inside, what we're going to do, we're not going to be learning manipulation tactics and seduction tricks and how exactly to talk in a way to become irresistible, how to dress, all of that. You will learn how to talk, how to behave, how to appreciate a man, how to really love a man. All of that is natural within you. And your fantasy will expand, and your flirtatiousness and your ability to surprise him and to treasure him and to, like, all of that will blossom from within you. But when you just focus on these things, they become manipulation. They become, it's like, I want him to be that certain way, so I'll behave that certain way. And it's not going to work. It's not going to work. What will work, and the only thing that ever works, is when you become that woman, when you occupy your throne, when you are like, okay, I'm going to see all those places where I've abandoned myself, all those places where I felt not worthy, where I did not feel like I deserve of this type of relationship, of this type of lifestyle. I'm going to see all of that, and I'm going to shed that, and I'm going to really chisel out everything that is not serving me. It's, like David was created, the statue of David. Michelangelo was just like chiseling out all those pieces that were not right. That he said, I saw this block of stone and I just saw the face in it, and I was just chiseling out everything that was not belonging there. And then this face emerged. And that's the work you have to do. Chiseling away the stuff and understanding that, yes, you get to have that. And what you want, I'm going to tell you. I'm going to tell you. If you drop the resistance, if you drop the strong, independent woman, if you drop the equality idea that it has to be equal. Well, first of all, let me pause here. Where did these things take you? This whole, I'm a strong, independent woman, I never need a man. I don't need his provision. I'm okay where I am. I'm low maintenance. I understand I need to be equal with him. If he gives that, I need to give equal. If he gives me 3 bananas, I give him 3 bananas back. Like, where did that take you? Are you happy? Are you really 100% fulfilled in your relationships? Time and time again, I see that no, people are not fulfilled. So I want to offer you a completely new, radical approach. And I've been talking about it quite a bit on my social media lately. And just the exhale I feel in women, just the amount of emotion, the amount of just relief that I see in women, and also men who are like, yes, I have that experience. Yes, that's what I did for my woman. And that's how I reason. Yes, that's what happened. The voices of women are louder right now, but the voices of men are also coming forward, and they're coming forward powerfully. And so I'll tell you what you want. You want, as a woman, to be in your natural feminine place. This is beyond polarity stuff. Yeah, even though the depth of the whole teachings around polarity are very interesting and profound. But I'm talking even beyond polarity. I'm just talking biology. Like, on the biological level, what are you looking for as a woman? You are looking to be soft, to be in your receptivity, to feel the sense of openness and safety in yourself. You want to be a woman. You want to be relaxed in your skin. Because when you do that, you become this light in this world. When you relax into this natural place, you notice beauty. You don't exist in these logical realms. You actually feel, and you bring the aliveness everywhere you are. Yesterday I was in a sauna, and there were 5 men and me. And I was feeling quiet at first. And then I realized, well, everyone is quiet. And what has to happen? I have to happen because I am the life in that room. And just with this awareness of just like, what do I feel? I feel so good to be with all these men here right now. And they're so quiet and present. And they are there, ready to experience life. And so I am here, this life. And then something just small started to happen. I paid attention to something. I said something. And then the whole room came alive. We were laughing, we were giggling, we were making jokes. Things just came to life. Why? Because I came to life. Because I felt, I dared to feel the moment, the truth of the moment. And that's how women are made. We are made to bring this life. In Sanskrit, there is a saying that says, Shiva without a Shakti is just a corpse. Shiva represents the divine masculine principle, which is emptiness. Just this empty container. This feminine, the Shakti, represents the life. And so without her, he is dead. So what kind of equality are we talking about here? She brings him life. What kind of equality? Without her, he's dead. What do we mean? Like he gives her that, and what does she give him? Like she gives him life. So biologically, we are designed in a way that as a woman, you are meant to procreate and you're meant to give birth, and life wants you to do that. So life really empowers you with your juiciest, most beautiful, most exuberant, most attractive qualities because she wants you to make more life. And then for a woman to create life, she needs to feel really safe. Women who cannot conceive are usually women who just don't feel safe in their skin, who don't feel safe in their relationship, who don't feel fully nourished on the inside because of how they treat themselves and therefore how their partner treats them. And so for a woman, when she chooses a man, of course it's really important to feel that the man can provide complete safety for her. And money does that. When she sees that he invests into her time and time again, it means that it's a man who is capable to hold her safe and their potential child or children safe. This is a very natural way how women choose their partners. When we are connected to ourselves, when we don't live in this constant buzz of stress and overwhelm, and you start to feel your body, and you start to feel, but what actually makes me feel safe? This is just this kind of hormonal little rush that it's like, oh my gosh, I can just open to him, I can just want to make it work, just whatever, whichever way it is right now. Or are you listening and you're like, well, do I feel really I can open to this man? Is this man capable of really holding me? And holding me like in the biggest sense, not just for this little experience we can share for some months or years, but for life, for lifetimes. And that's how you evoke the highest in him. Whether he is your man, whether he is your life partner or not, when you stay honest to that, do I actually feel safe with him? Do I actually receive that provision that really makes me feel held in him? Do I obviously give myself permission to experience that? Because a man who is in front of you is always a perfect match for you. Always. He's always showing you where you're at. And if you are attracting a man that, no, I cannot feel that, so don't go there. Hold it. Keep on deepening in yourself. Keep on deepening in your permission. And then you will see that he changes or he is replaced by someone else. And either way, this is perfect because the most important thing is that you don't betray your nature, your essence. And this woman, she is life. So it means she is an amplifier. It means that she, whatever you pour into her, and I'm going to that like the role of the man, whatever you pour into her, she will amplify. Because this is how her energy moves. It's moving in these ways that are opening, that are amplifying, that are enriching, enlivening. So you give a little bit into her, and then it's like a lot is created. But she needs to be in her natural place for that. If she is dried out, if she's running around like a hamster in a hamster wheel, if she is operating from scarcity and she's like, I need to work, or else I may lose everything and I may lose my job, and oh my gosh, this woman has betrayed her essence. And this is dangerous. Because this, my loves, is our portal into this ultimate human experience of sacred union. Why are you taking yourself away from it? You said you're here to serve love. You said you're here to be your highest, your fullest, your truest. Why are you betraying yourself so much? I'll tell you why. I'll tell you why. Because you are terrified of what it's going to take for you to actually claim what you deserve and to actually decide to deserve that. You only have in life that which you give yourself permission for. You only have in life that which you believe you deserve. Let that land. You only have in life that which you believe you deserve. Which means that you can expand your capacity to deserve infinitely. You can expand your capacity to deserve infinitely. And it's your responsibility. And feel the exhale in that. The deservingness, this wholeness of a woman who said yes to being a woman. Deserving, worthy, clear, loving. Because what do we want to deserve? We want to deserve love. How do we deserve love? By becoming love. By becoming love. What is this becoming? This becoming is about becoming love. What is this openness, this softness, this amplification? What is it? It's love. And that's you. Okay, now, men. Men are different. Their role is to bring their energy forward. This is how we're created, quite literally biologically. Yeah? Forward. His energy is forward. From a place of emptiness, from a place of pure awareness, the masculine moves forward. And so he goes forward. He provides. He pours himself into her. He gives. He directs. That's why when men have a lot of feminine energy around them, they tend to become very unfocused and they tend to lose themselves in all sorts of things. And they tend to not be able to actually gear themselves into their becoming, into their purpose, into their verticalization in the king frequency. This ability to provide, to give, to direct, and then to give it, direct it into the woman, to pour your investment of your energy, of your flow, of your money, of everything you have, of all the energy you have, pour into her. But then, of course, when I say the word money, then this is like, then becomes, what, money? Because how can you pour into her? You can really think about like what will make her feel joyful? What can amplify this love? What will bring the joy to her? Well, when you think about her, when you arrange things for her, when you give her gifts, or when you pay for things for her, when you pay her rent, for example, when you pay for something that she needs, for something, whatever, maybe for everything. When a man chooses to take responsibility for the woman. And these things I'm saying, you don't need to be nervous about them because it's really all within your choice. I know that if something gets triggered when you hear these things, then there is gold for you in there. When it's like, oh my gosh, but can I? And there might be fear. And there might be a fear of being used. So then she will use me for my money. And maybe you even had that experience. And then there may be another one that, am I able, but will it ever end? Then she will always want more and more and more. And that's correct, by the way. But acknowledge these fears. And where does it lead me? And what's gonna happen? And then will I just pour all my money into her and then be left broke and alone? And then she will just use me and go away? And what if I cannot provide on the level that she wants? Will then she leave me? So these are all good fears to observe. So there will be a bunch of fears coming up. There will be fears like, well, won't she just use me and go away? So I will just give her all my money and then I will be left broke without anything. Will I be able to even meet her needs? Because maybe she has such big needs that it's just I won't be able to provide on that level. So then what will she do? Will she then leave me? So it's so good to be aware of all these fears, because when you feel these fears, there is something potent there. There's always, when we are on the edge of something new, there will always be fear. Your highest potential will always vibrate with fear first, because it's a leap into the unknown. And so when a man understands these fears and doesn't allow himself to be pulled by these fears, but in fact goes into that place of the paradox, into that place of like, okay, maybe there are parts of me that feel a bit nervous, but then I start to do these things. Just try. Just start to do these things. Just start to provide for her in those new ways for you and see what happens. Then you do it. You go to a shop with her, you buy her something, and you check. How does it feel? Is fear still there? Maybe it's okay. And then you do something else. And then you do something else. And you do something else. And you may, like the man I told you about, find yourself in the middle of a flower shop and be buying a big bouquet of flowers to your woman, and you're like, what am I doing here? How did I end up here? But you're doing it, and it's like, okay, does it feel good? The way she receives it. Because you were inspired to do that for some reason. And you will see the big difference when you're inspired to do something for her from a place of, I have this abundance within me and I want to give it to her, and I love to give it to her. I love what happens between us when I give. I love what happens to her. I want to serve her joy. It delights me. When you do it from that place, it means you really geared your powerful masculine energy, and her receptivity will open more for you. It will amplify whatever you've invested into her, will be amplified tenfold, at least. It will be constantly amplified. When you pour into a woman, when you give money to a woman, when you bless a woman, you amplify the flow of abundance. You expand your consciousness. But you have to be willing to gear into this one woman. And you cannot do it from a place of the prince. Because from a place of a prince, then you would be in the sense of like, okay, I'm going to give her that, and what do I get in exchange? These are all questions of the prince energy, of this young energy within you, who is still looking for himself, who is in a place of search. So when you do it from this place, it's going to confuse you. It's going to be, you're not going to get what you're expecting, because you go with an expectation, and you're already closing the door when you go with an expectation. And so when you go with this energy of like, this is my space, I choose to penetrate the space in that way, this is who I am, then you amplify. When you go with that energy of the king, when you go with that energy of like, this is what I'm choosing, I'm pouring myself in that way, then she amplifies it all for you, big time. So these are the roles, the feminine role, the masculine role. And when we allow ourselves to actually dance like that, as women continuing to drop into the deservingness and inviting men into that with love, not with demands. It's never a good idea to demand anything from a man. Even though you may want that, you may have the intention for that, you may have this deservingness within you, and you may even need that. Still, the detachment should be there. Because whenever you relate to a man, you relate to all men. And you being honest with yourself, honest in elevating your permission to yourself, in how much of a woman you want to be. When you're honest with that, you're communicating to the masculine field. And we don't know what's going to happen with that man who is right before you right now. We don't know. It's his choice. It's his free will. It's his karma if he is willing or not willing to move it. But when you still stay honest with yourself and you don't try to mold yourself to fit into his version of reality, but you stay honest with yourself. You serve as this massive initiation space. You serve as love. And at the same time, your attitude really matters here. Because if you are demanding, if you are trying to prove to him why he should be that way, it's fine to communicate, it's fine to share your heart, it's fine to share your truth, your wisdom, but to demand, it's a whole other category, and you will always be met with resistance when you demand. But if you're like, I am speaking to the masculine field, that's how I love myself, and that's how I love you. And I know you have that power within you. I know you, coming back to that thing that I spoke about in the beginning, this divinity within him, this limitless, holy, abundant king that is right there, right here, right now. You're speaking to that one, being honest about the man who is right there in front of you, about his limitations, about his fears, with compassion, meeting him, yet not abandoning your truth. That's how you evoke the highest. And there's a process to go through as a woman to deepen into your deservingness, to deepen into your intention, to deepen into your detachment, your loving detachment, to deepen in your love, and to deepen in your need of them, of the men. All of that is a process. And inside of Sanctuary, inside of our next cycle, we are activating these codes within you. You learn to go into your deservingness. You learn to go into your love. You learn to go into your detachment. You learn into your ability to see men for who they actually are on every plane of existence. This will be revolutionary. So initiation of love is the next cycle inside of Sanctuary. Go ahead, find the link in the show notes. This is how you can step in. It may be on the wait list when you're listening to this, or the doors may be open. I open the doors for just a short window of time so that you can step in and we start the cycle all together. And then after this cycle, we are entering into a really profound phase of 5 cycles, each dedicated to a feminine archetype. Because that's a big mistake that women make, that they get really restricted in their expression. And then we're going into this whole phase of 5 cycles, I'm saying 10, 5 cycles, where each cycle, which is 2 months long, will be dedicated to various feminine sub-personalities or archetypes. And this work is exquisite. So a lot of women make this mistake of constricting themselves in one particular role, and how they show up in the world and how they relate with men. You may be always in the priestess, for example. You may be always like having this wisdom and this oracle that you bring forward for him, and that is really, really beautiful. And at the same time, that will make you feel constricted and lonely, actually, if you just stay in that archetype. And you will be experiencing that you keep attracting men who come to you for initiation and not to build a relationship. So then you may also find yourself that you're always in this archetype of the sacred slut or the lover, yeah, where you play with men, you enjoy yourself in their company, but also you may feel like they are not fully committing, or they're not fully showing up in their provision like you would like to. Or you may be in the princess with men, where you are in this receptivity and openness and being open to need them, but at the same time there's no depth and no like really deep meeting as two adults that is happening there. And so in the work that I'm currently doing inside of Becoming Her with my women, there is this feeling that it's like these archetypes, awakening these archetypes within you, it's a lifetime job. And we definitely need a lot of time with each archetype. And you will really be leading and receiving the codes of each archetype in every cycle. So you will be expanding yourself, breaking through limitations, and it will be delightful. But we are starting with this cycle initiation of love, and you can step in just for this one cycle, or you can step in for the whole year. When you step in for the whole year, there are savings that you benefit from, and also when you're on the inside of Sanctuary, there's a whole vault of material that will support you already to start awakening all those different qualities within you. So Sanctuary is taking off on the 17th of April, this cycle. If you're listening to this podcast episode way later, the wait list is available. Just step in, and once we open the doors, you will be most welcome to be with us. And the perk is also that you get access to all the materials of the previous cycles. So you're not missing out on anything. But if you want to be in the live energy and go through these processes now, because life is happening now, this is your invitation. So come step into Sanctuary. Also, if you wanted to do this work, so come step into Sanctuary, and it will be a delight to share this journey together with so many women awakening to the highest meeting of the masculine and feminine, choosing to occupy their throne, their highest place in love, and through that invite men, evoke the highest in men. We truly have that power, and that power begins from within. So thank you so much for being here with me. Thank you for tuning into these codes. Thank you for wanting to awaken these codes within you. Truly, this awakening takes us to the ultimate awakening that every human being came here to experience. The awakening into sacred union. Awakening into sacred union means awakening into the divine truth of who we are. And recognition that we live in this oneness, that we are that oneness. And as we recognize that, as there is a critical mass of population on this planet who recognizes that, together we shift our evolutionary stage and experience ourselves in the new world. And this is the world where there are no wars, where there's no nonsense, where we truly exist as pure love. And we are here for that. I'm here for that. My work is here for that. And I love that you're here for that as well. So I hope to see you on the inside of Sanctuary. And until then, all my love.